is up? Tonight is the much anticipated UFC brawl between Conor McGregor and Khabib Nurmagomedov. I cannot wait for this fight. It seems like it's been in the making forever and ever, and for whatever reason they haven't fought. Conor went off and did his boxing thing, and Khabib used to just be hurt every other day. Khabib's like the Dominic Cruz of his division. He's just kind of perennially pulling out fights for some reason. But he has fought a lot in his career, and he's undefeated. So, gotta give him props. I don't really like the style of fighting he has, but you can't deny his talent. And Conor, on the other hand, is one of the most exciting fighters the UFC's ever had. He's one of the best trash talkers the UFC's ever had. He's one of the most dynamic characters that the UFC has ever seen. And obviously he has the love of the entire country, but so does Khabib. So it's funny, it's like all of Ireland versus all of Russia. And, Khabib's on stage talking about the population of Ireland versus the population of Russia and stuff like that. It's just so crazy. This whole thing is so overblown, and it's so global. Everyone's just sort of at each other's throats. And Brendan Schaub was on Joe Rogan's podcast, and he said that he wasn't going to the fight because he was legitimately concerned that some shit was going to pop off between the Irish fans and the Russian fans in the crowd. That's just crazy. I've never heard of anything, I've never heard of anybody have those kinds of concerns at a UFC fight. So this is going to be interesting tonight. I'm really not sure what's going to happen. I think Conor's going to do it, but he's had a long layoff, man, and I don't think that ever bodes well for anybody. As great as he is, when John Jones came back after his long layoff and fought Vince St. Preux, he looked really, really rusty and not impressive at all. So I think that Conor will be better prepared than that. I think he'll be at his best, and he seems fired up, so that's exciting. But, when people fight with that much emotion, they make mistakes and they gas themselves out, and, it's hard to say. I think that it's an interesting fight because, that's a terrible matchup for both of them. You know what I mean? Like, Conor would probably rather fight somebody with a stand-up game, and Khabib would probably rather grapple the whole time. So it's going to be fascinating to see how it plays out. But I can't wait. The rest of the card, there's some really good fights on it, but I don't really have time to talk about that right now. I just wanted to kind of make a comment that it's so crazy that the fight tonight is just so hyped, and it's hilarious because this is the least promotion that I've ever seen the UFC do for any fight. And this one's one of their biggest. You'd think that they would have been plastering this everywhere. You'd think that they'd have the billboards and the posters and all the internet marketing and all that stuff. You'd think there'd be a press tour and all these different things. And this time it was like, I think they had one press conference and that was it. So it's just a different dynamic for this particular matchup. Everything about it is different. So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. I can't wait.